To the layperson on the street thinking of a white powder that gives you loads of energy, well, let's be honest, creatine probably won't be the first thing that comes to mind. And actually, many of us probably spent our teenage years convincing our parents that this bag of stuff that we ordered online is not a doping drug. Creatine is in fact one of the most well-researched supplements out there. But what is creatine? What are its benefits? And most importantly, does creatine help with calisthenics training? All this and more in today's video. Let's get into it. How you doing, Cali Crowd? Welcome back to the channel that makes calisthenics simple. Understanding what creatine does is probably a good place to start, and essentially, creatine supplementation increases the phosphocreatine stores in our body. But so what? What does this actually mean? Well, the currency of energy in our bodies is a molecule called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. To use energy in this form, we break one of the phosphate groups away to form adenosine diphosphate, ADP. This is where the phosphocreatine stores that creatine gives us become so valuable, because we can take a phosphate molecule from these stores and use it to replace the phosphate molecule we just lost to turn ADP back into ATP. The larger our phosphocreatine stores, the faster we can do this and the more energy we have at our disposal. And this is where creatine becomes extremely useful for solving the two biggest problems that calisthenics athletes in particular face. The first is the sheer difference in energy needed to perform a bodyweight movement compared to its non-bodyweight equivalent. At risk of oversimplifying this, if we want to train our shoulders, for example, a handstand push-up will cost far more in energy than a shoulder press machine. And the extra energy that creatine supplementation affords us will allow us to push through this. The other challenge we have in calisthenics is getting that first rep. Going from 0 of something to 1 of something is arguably the biggest issue when it comes to bodyweight training. Yes, we have regressions, or we can alter effort with bands or by changing the lever of an exercise, but the fact of the matter is, going one step up in calisthenics exercise is generally a lot harder than picking up a dumbbell that is 0.25 heavier than the previous one. Because of this, we very regularly find ourselves working at or near our 1 rep max, particularly for skill work, but here is where creatine shines most. Creatine's effects are most felt when the intensity of an exercise is high and the duration is short. So when you think about those heavy negatives or movements that we can only just about get 1 rep of, or those really intense isometric holds that we all associate with calisthenics training, creatine will ensure that we're able to give those exercises our very best. One concern people may have is that creatine may actually make calisthenics harder, and this is borne out of the fact that creatine does in fact increase water weight. And the reason for this is that, simply put, this is how our muscles will store the creatine. I wouldn't worry about this too much though, because all things kept equal, this is barely even a downside. And the energy and long-term muscle gains from creatine supplementation will render any drag from water weight negligible. Another question that often comes up when you talk about creatine is how much to take and when to take it. The simplest and most popular method for taking creatine is daily, 3 to 5 grams with food or with protein shake, and you will reap the benefits of creatine supplementation. And there really isn't much more to it. There's little to no benefit of deciding on when you take creatine before or after a workout, for example. So no need to get bogged down in the minutiae of when to take it before or after a workout. There's no significant data that supports that timing is an important factor of taking creatine. The most important thing is that you actually just take it. In a similar vein, don't stress too much about the type of creatine that you're taking. There is a market out there for products I call super creatine, and all they really are is a super waste of money. For most of them, the real thing that really gives them that oomph is just a really heavy dose of caffeine that you can get with a coffee. No, absolutely not. Creatine monohydrate is enough, proven to work, and is economical. I should mention though that for all the benefits of creatine and all the things that it is proven to be beneficial for when it comes to scaling up our exercise and training harder for longer, it still does not replace hard graft. Achieving the aspirational goals that we have as calisthenics-based athletes will take work, and while creatine can help, we still need to put in serious work to see these results. So if you want to see how I built muscle using calisthenics training, then check out this video right here.